What up, YouTube? This is Steven Tower. This is TalbyReacts. So today, I'm going to react to the PSX conference. So the PSX took over the weekend. The main press conference was on Saturday in the morning, and so there was a lot of great things. I am mixed on the conference. I think it was a pretty strong conference, but it didn't at the ending. It just didn't offer up, and so I thought the beginning was kind of the hard, kind of the big juicy stuff. What's going to make the news and stuff like that. And so the first moments of the conference, we get to see pretty much Uncharted 4, and it looks gorgeous. If they can do stories like that, I'm going to be impressed. And then you see the different options for talking and stuff like that, and that makes it even more interesting and see what they do, if there's any twists and turns. As you play the game, maybe there's multiple replayability in terms of those type of things. Although you never know. I was listening to kind of the Naughty Dog people when they were talking about that it may not be as an impact as you think it is, and so that was pretty kind of one of the bigger things. Then the second thing was pretty much the biggest, which was the Final Fantasy VII trailer. I wasn't expecting it going into the conference. We saw just all the stuff. We saw Final Fantasy VII at E3, and pretty much we found out they were pretty much just beginning the game. Really, they were in development, but even the director kind of didn't know he was directing the game. Kind of toward the beginning of the year. So there's a lot of mysteries, and with this game, when will it come out? Will it come out in 2020 or so on? But the stuff that we saw from this trailer was just amazing, because it really is kind of the beginning of Final Fantasy VII. The stuff with Barrett, just with Cloud and Barrett together, is this. This is definitely a moment. This is real. This is for sure real. Because I thought the Final Fantasy VII, the one they showed us at E3, they just didn't show us as much, and this one really kind of went beyond the bar in terms of kind of the content and stuff like that. And we even got to see some of the battle systems, and it looks good. Well, it just remains to be seen what it is. They recently come out with it's going to be episodic. I may make an entire video about that entire idea, because I think it's fascinating. Is it good? We'll see. But I may definitely make a video about it. And so the rest of the conference were pretty much indie games, or pretty indie type development, not really big type AAA games. They did talk about how Destiny is getting another racing mode. But that was pretty much, and then a little bit about Black Ops 3 new map pack that's coming out in January. But other than that, it was pretty much these small indie games. One thing that was cool was that there's this game called Bastion. It's a really awesome game by Supergiant Games. Go check it out. And they've been promising it for the Vita for pretty much the longest time. And they finally kind of delivered on that. And that was kind of really cool, seeing them deliver on games like that. There was a lot of out now type games. That's one of them. Fat Princess, which is probably a fairly interesting game. If you got $20 and you want to spend on buying a game, definitely check that game out, because I've heard just a lot of great stuff about that game. And so there was games like that they kind of randomly announced. And so the ones that I think, in terms of the small type games, what I really was impressed by was Adult Swim's games. That they were really creative. I liked kind of their first game. There's an adventure RPG type game that looks really awesome. And so there's a lot of cool stuff to see. Then probably another interesting thing was kind of the VR segment. I thought it would definitely be a bigger part, because if you think about it, they're coming out with VR probably in June. That's probably when we see it. So far we don't have a price. We don't have technically a date, although we kind of know it may come out in probably May, March, April, May, June, maybe even July type timing. But we don't have a for real this is when VR is coming out, and so we kind of have to figure out, when will we see VR for the first time, and when will we get this real big information. And so we'll probably see it at CES, honestly, because that's when they like to reveal kind of gadgets like this and just be able to talk about that. But we thought, there could be a really big push because this is the faithful. These are the supporters. These are probably everybody at this conference are probably potential people that would buy VR. And that's why they had probably what they said, they had the largest showing of VR at the PlayStation at any conference this year. And so this is a place where were able to play a lot of games that you probably haven't got to even play. And so which is very interesting. They showed some really cool stuff. I really like this eagle game where you fly as an eagle throughout these sounds. It looks like Assassin's Creed type place. Looks really awesome. I saw there was this game called Res or something like that. That it's like where you wear almost a VR suit, pretty much. And I've heard that is probably one of the most impressive VR games known to date. And there were some, some other small type stuff like Psychonauts. They're doing a Psychonauts VR. That's awesome. One of the coolest ones that I thought was really interesting, and I consider this one was one of the bigger VR games, which was the Ace Combat 7. This was a series that has long been stable on the PS2, on PlayStation for a really long while. They've been making Ace Combat games for, as you look at the title, it says they've made 7 titles. But this is a game that, people are just not interested in flying planes as much nowadays. And it's definitely a series that probably would have died if it was not for the VR. But I think with VR, it has allowed this series to come back, which is really kind of really interesting, really cool to think about. And so that's really cool to see them trying to take these old titles that may not have a home and try to put them on the VR. And that would be very interesting to see if they do that with any other bigger name PlayStation games, which that could be possible. We'll see. I'm always interested in that. So overall, the conference was cool. The ending, they left with a Paragon game, which is this MOBA game. You definitely tell that PlayStation is wondering about the MOBA space and how they should attack the MOBA space. And so they have a lot of MOBA games actually in development. And so it's interesting to see them using the lot spot for Paragon. But it will be interesting in the future where that will go. But we thought, there would be a bigger surprise like Sony Vin's game or something at the ending. But we were mistaken. But overall, very, very, very good conference. Liked what they did and can't wait, in the future to see more good games. Can't play some of these indie games. Had a great fun time watching this conference. I hope you guys liked the conference. Guys, what were your thoughts about this conference? Was it a strong conference? Was it a mediocre conference? Or or it was a weak, totally, you hated this conference 100%. What were your thoughts? Because I always like to hear. And thank you for watching this video. Like and subscribe to my channel if you like this content. And I hope to make more and more content. And have a good day, and thank you.